Hi everybody, it's Xanthia here, one of the co-authors of The Amazing Adventures with Afro-Girl. Today I'm sharing this video because I've been wanting to do it for, I don't even know how many months I've been wanting to do these videos. But you know, the life insecurities got in the way of, oh my god, if I do a video, I've got to make sure my eyebrows done, got to make sure my hair's done, and all these other things that just kind of got in the way of the message that I'm trying to share. So essentially what I wanted to do with these videos is share kind of a behind the scenes of my journey as an author and discuss significant topics to me within this journey. And I think it's really important for you not to see behind the lady that you might perceive as really confident, really bold, outgoing, and to see the journey that I'm still going on in order to produce this amazing book, which will be released hopefully in October of 2020, God willing. So today I've written some notes as well to try and help me not go on a tangent, because I do that a lot. Anyway, so today I'm going to talk about my inspiration for writing the book. So it goes back to 2017. I had just turned 30 and had my surprise baby, Lorea, and she was about 6 months old. So at the time, my eldest, who is the other co-author of the book, Maya, was 5 years old, and we were on the journey of homeschooling, which was going fantastic. Obviously things had to change slightly, new baby and adapting to all the changes that are associated with being a mother of two now. So 6 months into Lorea being on this earth, my grandmother, which is my mum's mum, had a sudden stroke. She wasn't ill or had any issues prior to that in regards to her health, so it was a bit of a shock. So anyway, as I was homeschooling, I had the freedom with the girls to just pick up and go, and that's what we done. So I picked up me and my children and we booked to go to Jamaica for 2 weeks, just to make sure everything was all right, support my granddad, you know, do the hospital visits and, you know, show the love and support that is required in this time. Unfortunately and unexpectedly, so the first week had ceased, and then we got to the second week, my nan suddenly just passed away, and that was it. In regards to the relationship that I have with my nan, it's quite unusual to what other people kind of have, or what I've heard other people have. There was a time when I was 16, I've always lived like across the road from my nan and seen her very often. You know, when my mum was working, she'll pick me up from school and cook for us and look after us, and you know, I'll be spending lots of time there because my mum was pretty close with her mum anyway, and we lived across the road from each other. And there was a child. All right, can I share the cheese, please? Close the door, Ray. Yeah, close it. Yes, so that's my parenting. Yes, so even though I saw my nan very frequently, and at 16 to about 18, I actually did live with my grandparent, my nan. It was a very strange relationship, and we didn't have a bond, and I knew she loved me, but I felt that it was a very difficult relationship, and I could see the imbalance between my relationship with her and her relationship with my brothers. And naturally I kind of felt not really, dare I say, loved as much as my brothers. So anyway, so when we're going, fast forward how many years, now we're going to where I'm at Jamaica, and she's passed away. So I said okay to my mum and my dad that I'm going to stay in Jamaica as long as I can, which was I was allowed to stay for 3 months, stay with the girls and support my granddad through the arranging of the funeral process. And it's totally different than it is over here. There's so many grave diggings and all of these events that you're hosting in order to kind of get the support with the burial process. Just to let you know, where we lived in Jamaica, it was countryside, so it was like 5 miles to the nearest like proper shop if I wanted to buy something, a snack or food or anything like that. So it was extremely isolating, and going through the process of not only burying my grandmother and her being buried on the land, I I had a newborn baby that I was still breastfeeding. I had a 5-year-old that I did send her to school in Jamaica so that she could experience schooling. But going through the grieving process was very, very difficult, as I didn't feel that I had this space where I could actually grieve, where I could process how I could be in so much pain for such a strained relationship, how I could, I've never really experienced death in my family before. I've got a really small family, never really experienced it, and trying to go along with that, trying to nurture children, still breastfeeding and not wanting to really break down in front of my children because it's only me that's there. Obviously granddad's out, not obviously, but granddad was out on the land doing his thing and he's a man, so it's a bit difficult there to be emotionally vulnerable. That's how I felt anyway. So going through all of that emotionally meant that it triggered the onset of my postnatal depression. I didn't realise I had postnatal depression at the time because I just didn't know. It was, you know, business as usual, kind of the black superhero complex, superwoman complex, where I'll just go in, keep going. There was no turning off, there was no space to breathe. I just had to keep fighting and keep pushing forward, taking each day, it wasn't really a day at a time, each second at a time, in order to be an effective mother to my children. So just a little bit about postnatal depression. I've just kind of written down what it is, the definition. So where have I written that? Postnatal depression is depression suffered by a mother following childbirth, typically arising from the combination of hormonal changes, psychological adjustments to motherhood, and that usually happens within the first year of giving birth to your child. Postnatal depression can be triggered by various things, such as having a history of mental health issues, whether or not that's prior to giving birth or earlier to the mothering stages, having no close family or friends so that can support, and that's something that I experienced as being in the isolated farmland with the children, having a poor relationship with a partner, recent stressful events such as bereavement, which is also what I experienced, or the experiences of baby blues. So it wasn't until I got back to England 3 months later, and probably close to about 2 years later, that I realised that I had postnatal depression, and that was the term for what I was going through. But anyway, to relate it back to the book, after my nan had passed away and kind of doing the homeschooling / schooling with Kamaya, we just woke up one day and we both had the idea, in terms of, because I'm always trying to think of creative ways of educating her and engaging with her and learning, and we just both had the idea of, let's write a book. So that's where the journey started, and I would say the whole book writing process was really, the initial stages was really unusual, because it just felt like an idea had been dropped on me and I didn't realise where I could go with this idea. I was just, as I said, leaving every second as I was going. I just thought we were just going to write a book as an activity. Then it turned into a book, an actual book that we said that we're going to publish. Then it turned into the idea of it being a 3-part series, and then I've got massive ideas which I'll share with you over coming weeks, months, about what I've got in regards to the bigger ideas of the book. So the story that we chose to write about was one day Kamaya's school, and you know, it's Jamaica, so they said they're going on a field trip. We will just say trip in it, but they're going on a field trip to the maroon town. I didn't know nothing about the maroon town, I didn't know what it was, but they said that parents can go. So I thought, you know, obviously I'm in the house all the time with the baby, so let's just all pack up and go. So we went to the maroon town in Jamaica. There's 2 locations of the maroon town. I can't exactly remember what they're both called off the top of my head, apologies, probably should have written down. And we went there and we got to kind of learn about the maroon people, which were Africans originally from Ghana in Africa, and they were taken over in part of the whole slave trade element, and they arrested in Jamaica, continuously part of the slave trade. But however, the maroon people were people that escaped and decided that they didn't want to be slaves anymore, and they took refuge up in the Jamaican mountains. So we was on that journey of learning, you know, taking pictures, not really meditating too much about the experience. But it wasn't until we said we were writing a book that it tied in with our with what we started creating. And then when I started kind of researching more about the tribe leader, her name is Queen Nanny, I realised, okay, and this is all in hindsight, when I'm probably definitely back in England now, and I was like, okay, so I've started writing a book in Jamaica about our experience in Jamaica. I've chosen a Jamaican heroine who's Queen Nanny. I was in Jamaica because my nan passed away. A lot of her traits Queen Nanny's traits in terms of her strength and being tactical and resilient, and loved and cared for, traits that my nan also shared. And those are the traits that I found out more so when I was interacting with people in Jamaica, and they were giving feedback about what my nan was like and how much they'll miss her, etc. and so on. So I started kind of connecting dots, and I definitely got this feeling that the story was placed upon me. And I don't know if I will go as far as saying I feel like my nan gave me that story, and I haven't really medded why I've been given the story, but I definitely think that in my lowest point I was blessed with the creativity and the courage to try and express that with the world. And in doing so, I feel that not only is the story going to be, the making of me in terms of me being a dyslexic author and being scared of words for a number of years, still scared of words, I'll be honest, and that's why the book's taking so long to be released, because I've got all these anxieties and self-doubts in regards to the writing process, which will probably be in another video, but I've been really fortunate to be given this. There's something positive to take away from such a traumatic and negative experience. I'm still definitely healing in regards to the postnatal depression. I don't know when you kind of know that it's gone, or whether it's something that just kind of stays in the lay-by or anything, but I'm not giving up on the journey, and I'm continuing to persevere no matter how long it takes me. My vision for the book, now that I'm more of a rational mind and interacting with positive people and influential people and people that are hearing my story and giving me the vote of confidence and tap on the back, and the reassurance that regardless of how much I admit it, I do need, and I do significantly value them along this journey of something that I'm absolutely petrified of. So in terms of my actual healing and the postnatal depression, what I would say to anybody that is going through anything of similar, or whether or not it's been you've titled it or not, but you feel that you're struggling after giving birth emotionally, definitely speak out, definitely reach out for help and support. I know it's sometimes difficult to talk to people, but there are the health professionals that are around. There are, hopefully, if you've got any friends that you generally trust with your emotions, and the emotions that not only you haven't been able to express to yourself, but sorry, I went off a tangent there. But all those emotions that you have, sometimes you have to be confident enough to say it to yourself, but then extra confident to say it to others. But if you've got someone that you feel that you can, even in a roundabout way, talk about something, but get those conversations going and those things off your chest, because it's healthy. It's healthy to talk, and keeping yourself in the state of depression is very unhealthy, and you can't operate to your optimum from a half empty or empty cup. Whatever you're giving to yourself, giving to your children, your family and friends, it won't be to its optimum, because you're operating from low anyway. And that's something that I got from one of my coaches. So at the moment, what I'm doing for myself in terms of, yes, it has an impact on the journey of the book, but what I'm doing for myself in terms of the postnatal depression is I've reached out to get a counsellor, which will hopefully be starting in the next couple of weeks. Just to put a time frame on the situation, my nan passed away, would say 2 years and 7 months ago now. Which I've never actually looked at the time frame, but yeah, that's how long it's been. Yeah, so finally I'm brave enough to say I need counselling. I've been always saying I needed counselling, but I've never actively gone about to try and find it. So I've made contact with someone that I trust to counsel me through this period and through any other periods. Someone that I feel confident in sharing my vulnerabilities with, my insecurities with, and I feel that is non-judgmental. I haven't sourced anyone from the NHS to do that because, you know, waiting lists and everything that's going on within England at the moment, and obviously now we're in COVID-19, so it's just everything's up in the air. So I've reached out to her, and that hopefully will be commencing soon. I also have a mentor slash coach by the name of Nelsa, who is helping me in terms of what I feel one of my main impact on my from my postnatal depression is having an impact. That didn't come out right. One of the main areas of my life that has been impacted on by the postnatal depression, and that will be my parenting for my children. So I'm getting support with that, and that will be, as with the counselling, that will be private, and that's me investing into me. And I think that's really important because I'm such a giver, and I don't really have a connection with finances and everything, so I will give to everybody without a double think. But when it comes to actually putting it back into me, I would always question my worth in regards to that monetary value. So now I'm trying to break free of that, and I'm going to address my mental health. Also, another thing that I'm going to do is I've always wanted to do a book club, and I finally found the way in which I want to do the book club. So what we're doing is via the Melanin Queens Publishing House. We are starting up, I say we, it's I am starting up a book club. And I say book club because we just won't be reading books, it'll be articles as well. And I've titled it Healing Through Literature. So I found a small group of women that I feel comfortable to be vulnerable with and explore the book that we've chosen, and to go through exercises. And that is the beginning, or not the beginning, because I do think I've done some healing up to date, but that's my, you know, I'm saying confidently, the beginning of my healing, of actively taking control of it and reaching out to others in order to heal the best that I can and fulfill my purpose on this earth. So yeah, that is the video. I said I was going to do this video for 5 minutes, but as soon as you start writing things down, I just started writing topics that I want to talk about, and I kind of hope I've shown you a little bit about me and my journey, and hopefully someone can relate, or anybody can relate, or just understand a little bit more about the beyond the actual writing of the book process, that there is so many other dynamics that come in contact with it. If there's as I said, if there's anyone that's suffering postnatal depression, feel free to reach out to me. I'm not a health practitioner, but I think I have a valued network of people who I can refer you on to, that people that I do trust myself, to help you get the support that you deserve. And I will end the video there. Thank you for watching all of this 18 minutes, Gordon Bennett, and only one child came out, video about me, Xanthia Altius, one of the co-authors of The Amazing Adventures of Afro-Girl, and the founder of Melanin Queens UK Publishing. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye bye.